channel.
All right, guys, a lot have been said about the Russian game. 1-1. It was Ibuchuku and AY Baba. Good to have you guys on set. Before we go into proper discussion, welcome to we'll give you detailed analysis of sport from fans' reaction to pre and post match analysis, and of course, in-depth analysis. Don't forget to join us on social media platform on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe. We bring the full package all at final whistle. Let's hear what the coach has to say in this video.
Ils mettent beaucoup de pression. Ils ont une très bonne qualité technique.
Russia has a good team with lots of pressure and technical quality. We did not play well in the first half. We didn't enforce our pressing game so well. But we were better in the second half with our pressing, and that made the difference for us. It was not an easy game.
Mes joueurs, parce que c'était pas un match facile. Quand je dis que le match n'a pas été facile, c'est qu'on a joué contre une grande équipe.
When I say the game was not easy, it was because we played against a very good team. They had their chances in the first half and they took it. We had our chance, but the keeper saved it. In the second half, Russia had 2 chances, but we had 1 or 2 and we scored. Now we're talking about the future of my team as we are preparing for the World Cup qualifiers. We made lots of changes to the squad, and our usual pressing game was a bit difficult because the new players are yet to fully understand how we want to play. So we need to keep working on our playing pattern and try to find balance.
Des enseignements où il va peut-être falloir penser à mettre un plan de jeu.
Wow, AY, you hear from the horse's mouth.
The horses is not always loud, though. I think one of the challenges we're having with him is in his inability to be audible, especially in pre and post match reactions like this. Yeah. You can't have it all. But one thing I know for sure is he knows how to communicate. Is whatever he wants to the players, whether it's in the dressing room or in the training, where it matters. So I think post match and pre match is always very difficult for people to understand and hear him. We know he's a French guy. Yeah. You understand? So that's why we are seeing all of those technicalities in there. But I did well to get a brief of what he said for our viewers. I think it was all about yesterday's match. He said we need to cope with the opponent's pressing. Okay. This was especially noticeable in the second half where we practically left without the ball. This is thanks to the Russian footballers. Now, he said the game was indeed difficult. We had a few moments where the Russians did that too. I think we played against 2 strong teams, and he meant that 2 strong teams met. So I think he said he went ahead to say we will make changes and we will work on planning under pressure because the problem has already risen in the last 3 matches. And I'm going to take my analysis from the last sentence. He said the problem has already risen in the last 3 matches. One thing is, like I usually say, the ability for you to know that you have a problem, you have probably solved the problem. And for me, if I am in a psychologist's mind, I think one of the things is talking about the problem that has happened in the last 3 matches is for a fact that we have conceded
a lot of goals. Yeah.
And those goals are practically identical goals.
Yeah.
Now let's look at the game against Ghana. We saw the Ghanaian winger beat our right back. Yeah. Now let's take the game against Jamaica. We saw the Jamaican winger beat our right back. Ismail Sadiq. Yeah. Now we changed personnel. Going into the Russian friendly, we saw the introduction of very experienced Turkish Fenerbahce defender, Bright Samuel Osayi. And we saw him starting that game. We saw the same thing happen again yesterday where they beat him and then we eventually conceded from the goal. Defensive error again. Defenders not being able to deal with positional play, positional alertness, positional awareness, very poor positioning as far as I am concerned. And I'm glad that the secretary has identified the problem. Now, for me and for some people, they might think it has anything to do with personnel. Yeah. But I disagree.
It's not personnel.
We've seen 2 players now.
Yeah.
Ismail Sadiq. Now we are seeing Bright Osayi. Some people have argued, okay, these 2, in the grand scheme of the Super Eagles right back, they might not even be our first and second. Because we know that Ola I know is the right back. He's the first choice right back for the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
But I will now remind them that we saw the same thing in the AFCON final against Adingra.
Yeah.
Again, play out again. So it's not an issue for me. It's not an issue with Arsenal. I really don't know if everybody has another opinion. So I think we have to know how to correct this. Positional play very important. Note that if you are not so athletic, make sure that you are positionally alert and aware of the winger you are playing against, and then their wingers. It's not everybody that knows how to slide. When the player beats you, there are slide tackles that you can use to. We saw Aaron Wan-Bissaka
doing it
very well. We saw some very good defenders that are able to do that.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, if you cannot do that, if you try it, you might eventually get injured.
Yeah.
So I will not subscribe
or
to
get carded.
that. But make sure that you know how to position yourself. Like I used to say, the primary role of a defender is to first defend first. Is to first defend first. If you are good attack wise or going forward, it's another plus for you.
Yeah.
You understand? But you have to deal with your defense first. And then to make matters worse, the centre back partnership are not complementing it. There are issues, there are situations where we have players, the right backs or left backs will be beaten.
Yeah.
Now it is not the responsibility of the right back,
the
centre back to deal with it.
Yeah.
When your right back is beaten. Now as the left centre back, when your left back is beaten, now you have to come
and cover us.
That was one player against the Zimbabwe. We saw how we slipped.
Yeah.
Ekong didn't do well. He will have probably stopped that goal. Now we saw again in the Unity Cup again play out again. Now we are seeing it again play out in the Russian friendly. So I think Chelle has been able to mastermind the problem and he has to deal with it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Because we really don't want to. Because when whoever you are playing know that you have a weakness.
Your weakness,
in your
capitalize on
right
that.
or left back.
Yeah.
Keep
Capitalizing on it.
So I'm glad that he has spotted this and he highlighted that in the post-match against Russia.
Yes. Oh, I can't be like saying only me and you did this production.
I think one angle came out from that made sense to me was the fact that he talked about the players he used, the fact that a lot of them were new to the system, so he's giving them time to understand.
Yeah,
you get. We saw 16 out of 20 players used. A lot of them are new legs. They've not understood his pattern. Even if they've played with him before, it takes time to master the philosophy. So I think the good thing is we are gradually going to the destination we are looking at. Because if we see how we've played since he's coming into the team,
yes, there's a bit of changes.
Before now, a lot of problems were there, but right now we are identifying them gradually and treating them. The midfield issue is about to be over. The way we are going, we could see them tap the ball. You understand?
Yeah.
And now, if we eventually settle the left back position, we brought in Agu. We saw how good Agu was in the game against Jamaica. And now, so a lot of these errors that we've had since Chelle came, he's trying to identify the problem. It is a compounded problem. So it will take time. You understand? Let's just give him time and let's see how we'll be solving problem one at a time before the World Cup finally comes. You understand where I'm going? Now look at the game against Russia. The first half, we were not ourselves.
Yeah.
You get.
He said
but the ability of the players to come back to the second half and put more pressure, that was what gave us that goal.
Yeah.
You get. So that has not been the identity of Nigeria in a while. We always do well in the first half and the second half we slip off. That's typically what Liverpool was doing last season. You get what I'm saying? So I think we're trying to work on that. But if we're able to concede less, it would really do us a favor. I think our defense line, where we ought not to have a problem, is all of a sudden giving us a problem. But let's see how Chelle works on that defense line. But if not, I would say everything was spot on. The players he introduced so far, I would say it was a success. So he should just take the credit and let's see how he moves forward.
Just take the flower.
Yeah.
Okay, personally for me, I think talking about communication with the players and the philosophy, I think to some extent they are understanding what Chelle wants to do. I think they are getting the gist of the kind of pattern he wants to play because we saw it yesterday, and eventually it works out in the second half. And then talking about the Russian side, this gave me a hint of how the World Cup is going to be, because if you must qualify for the World Cup, like AY like you used to say, those are worthy opponents you need to challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can play like this against Russia, that means you're putting us in a good position that if we go to the World Cup, we are assured that we can enjoy at least good football.
Yeah.
at least we'll know that the Super Eagles of Nigeria are equal to the task, whichever opponent you bring, exactly. Whether France, whether Spain, whether Germany, or anybody you bring, they are equal to the task. And I think I love what Chelle is doing. AY. Now, going forward now, we saw how the coach talked yesterday, how he analyzed it yesterday, and we have identified the problem now. Now, possible solution to this problem. What do you think he should do different in solving this problem?
No, I think now everything now boils down to personnel. Now, let me start from personnel.
Okay.
Let me start from personnel. I think first, let's look at the right back. I think the left back we have Felix Agu now.
Yeah.
We have Bruno Imachi.
Yeah.
They are going to be apparently slugging it out to see who eventually will get the nod to be starting our games.
Okay.
And they will still be looking out for some other very good players. Okay. That's one thing about him. You saw how he threw out Benjamin Frederick. We saw how he brought the Krasnodar guy yesterday to try him out. Once he spots you, he puts you into the mix immediately.
Okay.
Now let's look at the right back. We have Olaolu Aina, who actually pulled out. He would have played this game, but he pulled out because of injuries.
Yeah.
We have Bright Osayi, and then we have Ismail Sadiq. Now for me, Ismail Sadiq is not so experienced.
Yeah.
Because he plays in Remo Stars in the MPFL. But he's a good player.
Yeah.
Now, Bright Osayi, who is more experienced, did not have a very good
position yesterday.
No, apart from position, he didn't have a very good league run.
Okay.
He didn't have that very good league run this season.
Yeah.
He didn't have a very fantastic league run this season. So I think that would have probably added to the reasons why he was not giving us. Well, we saw Bright Osayi play at the left back position in the qualifiers. Now we saw how we brought his A game.
Yeah.
Now nothing would have stopped him from bringing the same A game when he's playing in his normal position. Now, so I'm looking at the situation whereby we have all of them on ground.
Okay.
Olaolu Aina, Bright Osayi, and Ismail Sadiq. When the three of them know that
competition day, one go jail.
Don't forget that Chelle used this guy from United States. What was this guy's name? Could you help me? This guy that plays in the United States. Alassane Yusuf. Yeah. He played in the right back position. He won the World Cup qualifiers.
Yes.
So even if you are not bringing your A game, if you are not ready to positionally be aware of that you are a right back, if you run and then you forget that you are a right back, there are players that would
take your place.
It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
So we're in the Super Eagles era that nobody feels shakara anybody.
Yeah.
You look at your back, you are seeing Bright Osayi. You look at your back, you are seeing Ismail Sadiq.
Yeah.
So we are going to the World Cup qualifiers. We have all of them on ground.
Okay.
Now, let's see the best. And we use the best out of the best. The truth is, once you have somebody that is competing against you, you up your game. That's one thing about life.
Yeah.
But when they are so relaxed that, there's nobody, I'm the only person.
Yeah.
Even if I'm injured, I'm injured, I'll still play the Afcon final. It's because we don't have a good right back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the problems.
Yeah,
so when we have competition in the team, that's where Chelle is gearing to us.
Yeah.
You have a good number of right back. You have a good number of goalkeepers that can give themselves the run for their money. You have a good number of defenders. You have a good number of left back. Everybody will sit up. So if you are not ready to sit up, you go back to the bench, or you will not get called up.
I will stop calling you.
So competition is the best way to get the best out of these players.
Okay, thank you so much, AY. Thank you so much. Yes, that's the voice of Chelle, the head coach of the Super Eagles, and he analyzed the match yesterday. He talked about the Russian side, how they played, and he also identified the problem of the Super Eagles. And AY, I think competition is one good thing that is going to help the players to up their game. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Feel free to let us know what you feel about the subject matter. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thank you.